So now I thought I'd maybe just take time and take a few questions from people. If anybody's got a question they want to ask. Oh, I see a hand in a red sleeve way in the back. Yeah. Yes, sir.
First record you bought and most recent music you bought.
The first record that I bought, 45 or LP? What was that? Both. The first 45, I bought 45s before I bought LPs because they were cheaper. I bought the Grand Funk Railroad cover version of The Locomotion. That was my first 45. Which is kind of cool, actually. I listened to it not that long ago, and it sounds good. And the first LP I bought with my own money was probably, I believe it was Queen's A Night at the Opera, which I still have. I don't have The Locomotion anymore, but yes, sir.
First concert.
First concert, I believe it was actually Queen. Opening for their opening act was Thin Lizzy. That's kind of an awesome show when I think about it. I went with my mom. My mom took me. Yeah, that was at Cole Fieldhouse, Ben Smith, in Maryland, near the University of Maryland campus. Yes, sir.
How did you come to set this book in Berkeley and Oakland?
Well, this book actually began its life as a proposed television series. That's why it took so long, because I actually came up with the idea for the TV show in 1999. And I developed it, I created the characters and sort of the general world and gestalt of the show, and wrote a script for a 2-hour pilot, and that was it. That was the end of it. It didn't go anywhere. And I laid it aside, and I did a lot of other things after that. Yiddish Policemen's Union, and Summerland, and short stories, and essays, and all kinds of things. But I just kept, I've put a lot of ideas aside over the years, but I think because I kept living here, I would walk out the door, I would have an experience, I would hear a story, I would meet somebody, I would go to a place in Oakland that I hadn't been before, or Berkeley, whatever it might be, the Thai Temple, for example. First time I went to the Thai Temple over on, what is it, Hearst? Thank you, Russell. I thought, wow, this would be a great setting for my show, but I wasn't doing the show anymore. And enough of those things began to accumulate over time that I just started thinking, why don't I just go ahead and try to tell that story? But this time, I'll be the network, and I'll be the producer and director and cast and costumes and everything. I'll do it all myself. And eventually, 5-6 years ago, I started during this book, but it was really welcome. It came at a very welcome time for me because I had written everything I had written since Wonder Boys, which I wrote primarily in 1994, had been set either in New York in the 30s and 40s and 50s, or in an imaginary Yiddish-speaking territory in Alaska, or in 10th century Khazaria, or in England in the Sussex Downs in 1944, and it had been such a long time since I had written something set, more or less in the present, more or less in consensus reality, I welcomed the opportunity to not actually have to research how you contacted your friend. How did your landlady, if you lived in a boarding house, was there a phone in her apartment, or was there one in the hallway, or in Alaska, is this when you're sending a letter, did you have a special postmark, or all these things I always had to either find out or make up, and it was a relief to just know how things are done. So, yes, sir.
I heard you talking about enjoying using unusual words.
Yes, I do enjoy using unusual words.
And I wonder, what do you think about the reader's experience of either not knowing really what you're talking about, or interrupting the experience to look up the word?
Yes, I do think about that. I encourage it. Because I love it at myself when I'm reading and I encounter a word that I don't know. I love looking it up. I love, first of all, you try to figure it out and suss it out, and you look at the root and you think, well, I kind of know that root means, charcoal or whatever, so maybe this has something to do with something that's burnt or whatever it might be. And then you can't figure it out, you do have to go look it up. You know, that is a pleasure for me of reading, so I'm only too happy to share that pleasure with my readers. But, you know, some of the writers I love most are writers like Vladimir Nabokov, who help me expand my vocabulary. Use a word like lemniscate and expect me to know what it means, and I don't, but I'll go look it up. I love going to the dictionary. It's almost as fun as going to a bookstore. Yes?